Hello, health conscious friend. You may be here because you're curious about juicing, or perhaps you're already a juice enthusiast. Either way, welcome to our How to Cook series, where we discuss and demonstrate one particular topic around plant-based eating, which may include how to implement different cooking techniques, how to cook with certain plant-based ingredients, or how to efficiently and successfully prepare plant-based meals. Today, we enter the vibrant world of juicing. We will demonstrate how to juice using a juicer and how to juice using something as simple as your blender and a fine mesh sieve or a nut milk bag. I'm Nichole Dandrea-Russert, Food Revolution Network's lead dietitian and recipe developer, and will guide you through today's topic, where you'll learn whether or not investing in a juicer is right for you, how to juice with a juicer as well as with a blender, and which ingredients and ingredient combinations are best for juicing. To juice or not to juice? That's the big question. Juicing can certainly be a very healthy addition to your diet, as it provides vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, and water for hydration. Think of it as something similar to a vitamin. It's like a little dose of reassurance on top of what you're already eating, and not meant to replace what you eat. Juicing involves grinding, crushing, and squeezing the produce to separate the juice from the pulp. The resulting liquid contains vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients from the whole fruits and vegetables. Of course, when you juice, you leave the all-important fiber behind. A benefit to this is that fiber can sometimes bind nutrients, making them less available to us. Therefore, when you separate the nutrients from the fiber, you are making those nutrients more bioavailable. On the other hand, juicing leads to missing out on the fiber, a very important nutrient in your diet, and one that is deficient in more than 95% of the American population. If you're consuming a mostly or exclusively whole food plant-based diet, then you're likely getting plenty of fiber to keep you regular and your gut bacteria happy. But if you're not consuming enough dietary fiber, you may want to consider increasing your intake of whole plant-based foods, or opting for smoothies which incorporate the whole plant, including the fiber, before jumping on that juicing train. Once your fiber is optimized at about 40 grams a day, consider giving juicing a try. Depending on the amount of space you have in your kitchen, the amount of time you have on hand, and the amount of money you'd like to spend, you can either opt for a kitchen tool that is made especially for juicing, or potentially use what's already available in your kitchen. Juicers come in a variety of sizes. Some may be really large, while others are more compact. Some may be vertical, while others are horizontal. So when considering a juicer, you'll want to consider both your countertop space to make the juice, as well as your storage space to store the juicer. There are slow juicers called masticating juicers, which provide cold pressed juice and thought to preserve more nutrition compared to juicers that use speed. Masticating juicers tend to be quieter and juice at a slower pace, so if you have the time, prefer less noise, and want to optimize nutrition, you might consider this style of juicer. Juicers that work more quickly using a spinning motion and metal to squeeze the juice from the produce are centrifugal juicers. They tend to be a little bit louder, but they juice faster and may be good if you'd like to juice larger volumes and juice quickly. That said, since they juice by spinning, they do generate just a little bit of heat, which may destroy some of the nutrients, the very reason why you're juicing in the first place, but you're still getting plenty of nutrition. They're not going to destroy that much. Triturating juicers use two juicing gears at a very slow speed to squeeze all the liquid out of the fruit and veggies until the pulp is nearly dry. They're great for extracting the most liquid and nutrition, but they also may take more time. Finally, juicing with your blender is very much an option. To maximize nutrient extraction, you'll want a high-speed blender. You can add all of your ingredients to the blender, blend until smooth, and then strain using a fine mesh strainer or a nut milk bag. Before we dive into our juice making, let's talk about a few simple guidelines that may help your juicing journey be more efficient. First, the order in which you add the ingredients to your juicer or blender is important. You'll want to add the tender and lighter ingredients first, like leafy greens. Add them first before adding your heartier plant-based ingredients like celery, ginger, cucumber, and apple, as they will help to push the lighter and tender ingredients through the juicer. Second, consider a base for your juice. This is often something with a high water content like celery, romaine lettuce, or cucumber, or fruit like watermelon. This will help to yield a large amount of liquid as your base. You could also do a combination of fruits and vegetables for your base. Third, think about other ingredients based on the flavors you'd like, or ingredients you'd like to incorporate for their nutritional benefits, or perhaps you have fruits and vegetables that need to be used up in your fridge. So for flavor, consider a variety and what that specific ingredient brings to the juice. So for example, celery has a naturally salty flavor, which can help to mask the bitterness of leafy greens. Then maybe you'll want to add a little citrus or sweetness through lemon or orange or pineapple. If you like spice, add some ginger. For earthy flavors, add some turmeric. Experiment with a variety of fruits, vegetables, and herbs to discover delicious tasting juices that you will drink regularly. If you want to optimize nutrition, add a variety of plant-based foods since each food may come with its own set of nutrients and benefits. Aim for 5 to 7 different types of plant-based ingredients for your juice. If using up foods in your fridge to minimize waste is your prime motivation for juicing, then consider keeping a bin full of leftover fruits and vegetables from recipes made throughout the week. You can use the stems of herbs or parts of vegetables you tend not to consume, like kale stems or broccoli stalks. There are a variety of ways to approach juicing based on your own individual goals. I'm using a juicer called Nama Juicer, and what I love about this juicer is that it juices very quickly and cleans up pretty simply. This juicer also has a smoothie making option, which is a bonus. The components of the juicer include the base, the hopper where the produce goes, and then inside the hopper is the auger, the spinning brush, the strainer, and the chamber. Now these all come together to help push the produce through and make the juice. And when the juice is made, you then have 2 containers. You have the pulp container and the juice container to catch the pulp and the juice respectively. It's put together very easily once you understand how to assemble it, and it also breaks down very easily. Once it's together, you simply add all of your ingredients, filling the produce hopper about 3/4 of the way, and then you can continue to add produce at the top of the hopper as you need to. I like to run the pulp through a second time to try to optimize the nutrient and liquid extraction. Before adding the ingredients to the juicer, cut your produce into smaller pieces. It's a little bit helpful. Today I'm using some of my personal favorite juicing ingredients: a dark leafy green like kale that's powered with nutrition, ginger for some spice and for its digestive properties, celery for its naturally salty flavor, and it also contains nitrates, which can help with blood flow. And then we have lemon, which adds vitamin C and a little citrus flavor. Now with the lemon, you have the option. You can either cut the lemon into like maybe quarters, add it to your juicer and blend it, or juice it whole. Some people detect a bitterness when they blend citrus rind and pith in the juicer, so they prefer to cut it in half or cut it in quarters and juice it separate from the actual juicer. So I would go ahead and juice, and then once you've juiced, you can just squeeze your lemon juice into the juice that's made from your juicer. You can do either one. Add it to your juicer, or if you know that you're going to detect those bitter flavors, juice it separately with your citrus juicer. I also wanted to show you how to juice using your blender. Today, I'll be demonstrating juice made with carrots, beets, turmeric, and orange. This juice provides vitamin C from the orange, which supports the immune system and brain health. It provides carotenes, the plant-based version of vitamin A from carrots, which act like antioxidants. It provides iron and nitrates from the beets, both of which support blood oxygenation and circulation. And then it also provides anti-inflammatory curcumin from the turmeric. Now you'll notice that I only add the orange segments to the juice and not the peel, because I do believe that it would be pretty bitter with the orange peel. I also am adding 12 ounces of water to get the blender going and also to reach a smoothie-like consistency. When you blend all of your ingredients together in the blender, you will initially end up with a smoothie rather than a juice. So if you're looking to enjoy the fiber along with all of those nutrients and you don't mind the pulp, then blend, sip, and enjoy the smoothie. However, if you prefer no pulp, simply pour the smoothie into a nut milk bag or a fine mesh strainer over a bowl, container, or pitcher. I do recommend using something that has a spout so that you can easily transfer the juice into individual glasses or jars. Once you pour the smoothie into your nut milk bag, you'll gently squeeze the bag from the top to extract the juice. You want to do this slowly to avoid the juice spilling out from the top or spouting all over the place as you squeeze. Continue to squeeze until all of the juice is extracted and you only have the pulp left in the bag. Now, if you're using a fine mesh strainer, use a large spoon to press the juice out of the strainer, leaving the pulp behind. By the way, to learn what to do with the pulp, visit our article, What to Do with Juicer Pulp, Recipes and Creative Uses. Okay, it's time for the taste test. Which do you think you would like better, the green juice or the red juice? I'm going to start with the green. It is deliciously refreshing. I get some citrus from the lemon, a little bit of spice from the ginger, salty from the celery, and I barely taste the greens. I could sip on that all day long. It is so good. Okay, next for the red juice. That is sweet. That is really good, but it's also sweet from the carrots, the beets, and the orange. So those three add sweetness. Turmeric adds a little earthiness. Don't forget, turmeric and beets will stain your hands temporarily and may stain your equipment a bit as well. So just be aware of that. Hopefully that doesn't discourage you from using those nourishing ingredients. Okay, so now that you have some knowledge and know-how about which juicer may be the best juicer for you and how to go about juicing based on your available equipment, time, and juicing goals, it is time for you to get started. Don't forget to check out the blog that goes with this video to get some of our favorite juice blends as well as some refreshing and nourishing juice recipes. I'm Nichole Dandrea-Russert, Food Revolution Network's lead dietitian and recipe developer, and I look forward to seeing you for our next How to Cook video where we will talk about how to make festive mocktails. Happy juicing!